saw the back of my knee and they call it in European, right, baby mama. So me, when I talk about him, I go, my son's father. I mean, that's just how he talks. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's no different, I don't think, like, it's the same shit.
But I do get your point as far as the baby mother trying to be derogatory. Like, there's going to be articles, there's stats on it. There is a negative connotation to it. I think that's reality, and I feel like we should all accept that.
If you look at the statistics, raising a child as a single mother is the worst thing you can do for the child's upbringing. As far as its potential for criminality, as far as its earning potential, as far as its like health, as far as its well-being. If you look it up, raising a child as a single mother is one of the worst things you can do. That's absolutely true.
And my brother was 60 older than me. He was three jump fish,
What y'all think about? What do y'all think about single parent? What do y'all think about single parent households? I didn't grow up in a single parent household. My parents are married and they live in the same house. And we've all been living in under one roof my whole life. I'm the only person that doesn't live there right now because I'm at school. But what do y'all think about that? Like, I think that being a man or a woman doesn't make you a good parent. So just because there's a woman raising her child by herself doesn't mean I'm making like a podcast. Why do you look at me? Do you want me to wait?
No.
Okay.
You look so cute.
Thank you.
God. So I thought you were talking about what they were saying.
I am talking about what they were saying, but I was thinking like what do I think about that? Like, like I don't think just because you're a man or a woman makes you like a good parent. So, yeah. So just because there's like a mom. No.
Do we have the list of people or I don't think so.
Yeah.
Like she ordered pizza, so the guy saying that there's no like go name.
He should have her number.
Yeah.
Tell him he should have her number. He shouldn't give you any problem. He's the one supposed to have her number. It's not your fault, it's his fault. So ask him, tell him that does he have the phone number? If he doesn't, he should call his place and ask them for her phone number and then get her. Because you don't know if she's in this phone or not.
Okay.
Don't sweat it. You're welcome.
Okay, but like I was saying, I'm doing a podcast. You wanna see? You wanna say hello?
No.
Okay, she don't wanna say hello. Okay, but no, I was thinking like
Who's watching?
no one's watching right now, but when I upload it, they will be. It'll go to the masses.
Why are you so happy?
Okay, no, but like I was saying, like I don't think if just because you're a woman doesn't make you a good parent, just because you're a male doesn't make you a bad parent, and you shouldn't have to have both to be a good parent. Like,
Do you think there's a difference between like baby mama and mother of my child?
that has to do with respect. Because
Yeah, that's what I
if she's your wife and y'all have kids, if you have kids with her, then that's your baby mama. But you're not gonna call her that. You may, but like that's gonna be like your wife, like the mother of my child. There's more respect behind that than to say, like that's my baby mama or baby mama drama. Like you don't hear mother of my child drama, you know?
Do you take notes in statistics class?
Do I take? Yeah, when I go.
You go today.
No.
So it's so one part was saying something like baby mama is like more of a downgrade, like oh, she's just my baby mama. That means her priority is not really the baby, or she
That
just
means you're
doesn't
really.
really wait. So like she's saying like
Do you want to be
she's
seen?
just not no.
Okay, okay.
I think when
More
they
like
say,
she's wait, let me finish. It's like one part is saying that so baby mama is more like a downgrade. Like if you believe that the mother, like the lady who has your child, is
Mhm.
worth something, she's also being good to your child and to you.
Yeah.
There's no then
It's like the
you
mother
give her
of my
that respect.
child.
Yeah,
You
you
call her like the mother of my child or my ex girlfriend or
Yes.
my
But
child's
she
mom.
ain't
If you
shit.
say my baby mama, then
Then
that's
she
just
ain't
like,
but I
oh.
think when you say
But then
baby
another
mama,
another side is saying that baby mama and mother of my child is the same thing. It's just people have decided to use baby mama as a negative connotation, and I'm just like,
Well, yeah, in
isn't
essence,
that
it's the
the
same
reason why
thing.
baby mama is there? Like
Yeah,
baby
like
mama,
it's obvious that it's the
you
same
know,
I
thing,
think when
but
you say baby mama, you don't care about the mother of the
that's
child.
what
You care about
right,
the child. And then when
right.
you say mother of my child, you obviously care about her. That's
And you barely care about the child. I mean, no. Because if you calling them baby mama, then you're acknowledging that it's your child.
yeah,
Like, I don't know if you would call somebody your baby mama if it's not your baby.
yeah, exactly. If you don't agree that it's your baby.
Yeah.
yeah, but then the woman herself ain't shit because
Or
you're
ain't
just
shit to
calling her-
you, yeah.
her baby mama. But if she's the
Mm.
mother of your child, it's like you've accepted the fact that she has your baby, and then you also accepted the fact that you're gonna give some respect to her as a
Right.
woman. Okay.
Yes. Yay. Oh my god. But no, yeah, like, yeah. And I don't think that, like, okay, if I can only speak for me because I didn't grow up in a single parent household, so I wouldn't know what that's like. So I can't sit here and impose like, oh well, I grew up in a two parent household and I'm good, so that's the way that it all should be. Like, one, life don't work that way, and people like extra successful. People are successful. Actually, I was about to say people successful when they don't have no parents, but that's not even a conversation. It's about single parent. Like, you can be like, just because you don't have parents doesn't mean that the kid's gonna grow up to be terrible, or just because.
Right. So see, that's what the guy was trying to say was statistically, he read that it's statistically proven that those with single parents, like statistically, they are not raised as well as those with both parents. And that's what he said he read somewhere. So
But
that's
you
what
don't
the girl
know
was
that,
saying.
yeah.
I know he wanna find the source of where you read that because
Man,
she has never heard it before.
yeah,
Because
you don't know
knows
that.
a lot of
Bec-
people who were raised up by single
because
parents.
just because you're a
who
single
were-
parent, like, you could have a single parent that has support and single parent that has no support. You could have single parent with family that has no support. You could have single parent with no family but has support. Like, if, like, say I'm a mom, right, and I'm a single mother and I have a family that's supportive, well then that doesn't mean that my parenting skills is gonna be outstanding either. You know, like, it depends on the person. Just because I'm by myself, like, just because the woman is by herself does not mean that she's unsuccessful in raising a child. Because at the end of the day, you got her by herself with the kid, not the daddy. Like,
Like
not to say that the dads aren't capable, but if the kid go, like, if a woman gets pregnant, it will more so ruin her life. If it ruins anyone's life, assuming that the kid is just gonna automatically ruin someone's life, it's gonna ruin her life. She's the one that has to get pregnant, take off work, do all this other stuff, and care for the kid after
I
it's
won't
all
say
done.
ruin her life. I'm gonna say it's gonna
Change.
be like change or be more of a challenge.
Yeah, it's gonna be more of a
than
challenge.
somebody else.
Yeah,
Not really.
but
But I
it
get
just
what he's
depends
trying
on the
to say,
perspective.
though. I get what he's trying to say though. He's like, he's not saying that he believes that everybody who grew up with a single parent.
But we're not
is
talking
fucked
for
up.
everybody.
No,
Like,
that's what I'm saying. He's not saying that. What he's saying is he read somewhere that most people who are raised up that way are fucked up. And then that's where there's also like some kind of argument because one guy is like he was raised by a woman.
but fucked
like,
up how? Because, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
like he said that another guy was like he was raised up by a woman who had his older brother him and was still able to get 2 degrees, was still able to make a family. She didn't even
Yeah.
need their father. He doesn't know where their father is, but she was able to take care of both of them for them to become grown, and she still has her own house and everything. And I'm just saying, like, what the first guy was trying to, he's not trying to say that that is how
All
every
of it,
guy
but he says
would
like
do.
on average, or
Yeah,
like
he said that that's where he read. He was like, it's statistically proven. That means he kind of found a source that told him that, you know.
what's
And
statistically proven?
I
What is that?
know.
And then what is it to be a good bad and parent? So how are they even judging it?
Right.
Because if the statistics are going based off of income and say that you have to have a certain amount of income to be a good parent, then you're not really looking at whether the person's a good parent or not. Because I
Right.
promise you, there's a bunch of rich people that don't pay attention to their kids and just throw money in their face.
That's true.
And that don't make you a good parent just because they're not out on the street. But then they could be out on the street on drugs because you gave them so much money.
Yeah, like it's a lot of married couples with like
Yeah.
kids, and all their kids is fucked
And their
up.
kids is a hot ass mess. I'm not a hot ass mess.
You want cake? Baby, you want cake?
Where did you get cake from?
Like PEO
Cake, 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 cake. Put you on and put you down. So I guess that conversation's over. I don't know. I was just thinking like, yeah, nah. And then recently, everything I think about ends up coming like down to like a feminist point of view because, of course, I'm at a women's college and things. So it's just like how, like, don't sit here and try to have and direct the conversation to be about women when it's not a women problem. Like, they're doing what the fuck they have to do. Somebody has to raise this kid. Like, somebody has to take responsibility. So that's gonna be either one of y'all or neither of y'all. So the fact that she's doing it, I don't even see why they're being critiqued about how successful it is to live in a one parent, two parent household. Because if it takes two to have the kid, then I'm just not really convinced that um, a person would voluntarily want to take up all that responsibility of raising a whole child on their own. Now, single parent, as in like not dating or not being in a relationship with the father, like, okay, do you still consider a person to be a single parent if the parent is in a relationship with the father, but the father doesn't do anything with the child? Like, why don't y'all consider it a single parent household then? Because at that time, like, you could still have a kid that's being raised by their mom and their dad is just not in the picture for them. Like, it could be in a relationship with their mom, they could be in and out, doing whatever, but the dad may not really take care of the kid. So are you talking about single parent because the parent's single? Aww.
Okay, you gotta taste it first to see if you like it. I don't like the icing because it's lemon, and it just tastes so terrible. But I like the middle because it's so soft and squishy. Really good.
I should not be eating this.
It's okay. You want some more?
Okay, now that was rude. That was rude.
Let's eat this together. I have a whole pan. Do you like it?
It's good.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna eat the whole thing because I shouldn't be eating it.
Eat it. Go try it.
Take my glasses back off because I can see. The screen's close enough so where I can see what I'm supposed to be looking at. But yeah, that's all I'm saying. Like, what are you gauging as being a single parent? Like, what is a single parent that we're talking about? And then what is a good parent? What is being raised well? Because raised with morals and values, you could have like low income conservative white people raising their kids in a stable family, but they teach their kids to be racist. Like, is that being raised well just because they teaching them values as opposed to having no values? Like, you know, like, I'm only using that example because that's opposite from my like political beliefs, like the whole like South heritage, not hatred. I'm racist, but I don't want to be called a racist because being called a racist is bad, and I'm not bad, so I'm not a racist. That whole thing is like, yeah, I don't fuck with that. I don't like that. But I don't know. I just think like if there is a person that's raised a single parent household does not mean that that child. Oh, that's the other thing. Just because you're raised in a single parent household does not mean that you don't have two parents. Because you can still have another parent, but they just don't live in the same household. So you're only being raised by one parent in each home. But that doesn't mean that your morals is being twisted. Like really, like I feel like it's better to have parents to raise you, to try to raise you right, than to stay together just for the sake of raising you. And now you see in this toxic relationship, whereas you wouldn't have to see that. And I don't know how many times, like how likely that is, like how often you see like parents actually doing that. Because yeah, I don't know like how often like there's people that are that co-parent separately and they don't like badmouth each other to their kids. Like I came from my parents were married, so I don't know what that is. Like I definitely don't think that you have to be in a two-parent household to be raised correctly. And I think that if you're in a two-parent household, then you kind of you closer to that Caucasian male like viewpoint of the world, because like the standard of families is to be in a two-parent household. So you may be closed-minded and being raised to be closed-minded as in like what you're doing right now is the right way and it's the only way and it's the best way and everything else is like a flawed like circumstance. So, whereas like if you're raised in a single parent household, you may not like you may feel like okay, if I had both my parents, I would have been raised better, but you may be able to see that like okay, my mama can have this job, she can raise me, she can pick me up, she can take me this place, she can pay for that, she can, still have her hair and nails done, like do all this stuff. So now you're seeing more of like a you can kind of see that a little bit more. Maybe like kind of appreciate your parents in that way because you see them doing it on their own. Whereas if you live in a two-parent household, you may take your parents for granted because you think that they have somebody with them. So you're not really thinking about their struggle or that, or like looking at them like they're an individual. I know like when I talk to people who only have, that come from like single parent households, they can kind of see their parents as being individuals like of their own person. Whereas like most of the time when I think of my parents and I think of them together, like I acknowledge, like I just think of them like of course they're individuals, but it doesn't really register that they are literally two separate people who are always together in my mind. So when I interact with them, I'm not interacting with them as um I'm interacting with them as a unit, not as like individuals, even though they still are individuals. So they can be like, it can be very difficult to raise kids when you're in a marriage because your whole identity is like being, is like being changed for this kid. Like this kid doesn't see you as the girl that grew up in such a place and did this, that, and the third. Like they see you as being this person who's married and make all these decisions with your father or whoever, like, and that's why I'm just kind of like, hmm, it's a lot. I feel like, I don't know, like I ask my parents questions, but I think that they're kind of like rigid in some of the ways that they really want to teach me values. So some questions I ask may be on that line of like, like this is a value we want you to believe, but it's not the only way. But they don't want to teach me other ways because they don't want me to use those as options. They want me to be at the standard. So if we're going to talk about kids, then they'll only want to talk to me about my future and with children in relation to marriage. So if I'm talking about kids and stuff, then it's like, okay, well then when you have kids, like it would be a like everything that you would do, it has to be a conversation that you would have between you and the child's father. Yeah. And so like the open discussion to talk about what if I were to have kids, how would I raise them if I was like a single parent, that's never been like a conversation. Which I kind of think is messed up because then, like, say that were to happen, God forbid, like, that I would have to end up with a kid on my own. That's not, right now, that's not possible. Ain't happening. But, like, hypothetically speaking, if that were to happen, like, it's not like there was anything that prepared me for that situation. Like, I talked to my parents about, like, views on like abortion and stuff, or like those kinds of things, and I know where they stand. Um, but like the gray areas that are so easy to slip into haven't really been discussed because, like, yes, I would like to get married. Yes, I would like to get married and have kids, but I may not want to get married to who they want me to get married to. Like, I may not get married. I may not get married at all, and I might still want a kid, which is what I told them. If if I told them by a certain age, if I'm not married by this age, that I want to um, have a kid, like I want to adopt a kid and co-parent that kid with a friend. So not just like, oh, you want to co-parent this kid with me? Like, no, it would have to be like a specific agreement that both me and this parent, that me and this other person are gonna decide that we're gonna parent this child. And I just kind of will want to do that because I know that there's a lot of kids in foster care. There's a lot of kids in like the a lot of kids in the system that do need people that like are gonna be supportive and can like at the least just take care of them. Um, and if I have the means to do so, then I should do so. I don't think that that should only be limited to kids that come from me. And I also don't think that I should have to be married to do all that stuff. Like I don't have to be married to have a dog. Like if I had a really young sibling that was like 5 and something happened to my parents all of a sudden and they were pretty much out of the picture, like I would have to take care of that kid. So no one's talking about me being married then, like, so I don't think that you have to be married in order to raise a child. I don't know i don't know it can kind of just go like loops and loops of just like, just thinking more outside the box and how far can it get, like what makes a good parent and like what makes being raised right, like being raised right. So I don't know. But let me know what you think. And I'll be in the comments. Yeah. Okay, that's it. Bye.